We have to go to the root. We have to go to the cause. Dealing with the condition itself is not enough.
Dear Mr. Massa, I'm just trying to mind my own business. What's the matter? It's just another day, another black king captured. I'm about to lose my brain, stuck inside this ghetto rapture. I got a lot of smoke. If you want it, you can have it. They want a hat trick, but this is black girl magic. Ain't talking about the kind that'll make you disappear, but I'm talking about the power of the melanin within. Ain't looking for trouble, but I'ma say this one time. I put 2 dukes up if you try to touch mine. We still want justice for Tamir and Trayvon. You say you don't see color, but racism ain't blind. They targeting little kids whose skin look just like mine. So I'm paranoid, it's a war zone outside. And I'm a black queen, so if you ask me to step out of my car, you gon' have to snatch me. Cause I ain't going no damn well. Had to spend my whole life living unfair. Ancestors got my back and they right here. You can never understand, it's a nightmare. Living in my black shoes by the black rules. You can keep your handshake, I don't dap coons. The white man that go nuts if he cash you. But you all on his side like a damn fool. Make it make sense.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
We are exploited. We are downtrodden.
Make it make
We are
sense.
denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyyah.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Ahmadiyyah.
oppression and exploitation
Queen.
away from us or aside from us is come together
Queen.
against the common enemy. Who taught you to hate the texture of your
Ahmadiyyah.
hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin?
Ahmadiyyah.
Parents, pay attention to the books, the school system, even to your little children. Lies mixed with wisdom. His skin too bright, so he was blind to the prison. My skin just right, so I collide with division. You trying to pray to God, but we tired of religion. No savior saving, we got to save our savings. We used to pay miss, how we gon' make the slave rich? But who's to blame, and tell me why you complaining? We need a team effort just to rule the nation. Like a bad relationship, missing communication. We missing moderation. They trying to get a poison to my population. No reparations. I'm getting tired of Satan.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
I'm getting tired of waiting.
We are downtrodden.
Queen.
We are denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyyah.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Ahmadiyyah.
oppression and exploitation.
Queen.
Touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunsa. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations. America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all in Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threat.
This is the sound of Eric Malcolm.
It's a cut on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threat. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans, and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen, why they hate know me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X to my jeans and I got...
This is the sound of famous.
All right. Thank you, beloveds. I forgot again. Okay, so Grand Rising, thank you for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your morning wake-up call. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and hit the like button. Remember, it doesn't cost you a single thing, okay? Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Dr_A_Shakur, TikTok at Dr. A Shakur, and Twitter at DGoddess27. And as per usual, if you don't like what the queen is cooking, you already know what to do. Okay, so let's get into it. Hello, Lamar, Nessie X, Bithia is here, H-Town to Cali. All right. Rashid, Sierra, Strawberry Quick, Donna is here, 504 Nola, Claudette, Reeducated Soul. All right, I see the elder Barbara Rashawn Live is here. All right, Brutha, New Orleans, Yahuwah's daughter, Jeff ATL, Terry Hitton. Let's get into it, Desmond. All right, I see I got moderators today. Didn't have any this morning at like 12 midnight. Okay, and then King Shaw, Darnicia is here. All right, Adrian, I see you, beloved. Okay, so let's get into it. Likes up, everyone. Please like and share. Likes up. Let's like and share. So first things first, I have more information on Diddy. You know the accuser. Hey, Red Wine Entertainment, and so the accuser. Ashley Parham that I talked about last night or early this morning, well, her story seems a little sketchy all of a sudden, okay? Because right after I finished that broadcast, yeah, Toxic Therapist said Queen was up late, okay? Right after I finished that broadcast, I saw some information that just sounds kind of sketchy about her whole story. So let's get into it. Likes up, everyone. Please like and share. Now, mind you, she's been represented by attorney Ariel Mitchell Kidd, the one who's authored, and she does, a lot of press, basically, does a lot of interviews and whatnot. And she also was formerly representing Adria English until she decided to drop her because of some discrepancies or whatnot. Not in her story necessarily, but between the two of them. Okay, so that all being said, let's get into it. Likes up, everyone, please, a like and share. I'm going to share my screen. Now, there's actually two clips I'm going to share. This is the first one, and then um, you all tell me what y'all think, because Ariel Mitchell Kidd, whatever she was saying, wasn't making any sense to me. I'm sorry. It just wasn't making any sense at all, as far as I'm concerned. So let's get into it. Likes up, everyone, please, like and share. Thank you in advance. Here we go. All right.
Let's go back. He would be the third person to rape her. This is vaginal, not anal. And she decided not to name him when she decided to keep Diddy out of these subsequent police reports because she feared that Diddy could have a grave effect on her life. She didn't mention donor number. It's not in the complaint. I'm not sure if it's a mistake. In the complaint, she just talks about Shane and I believe KK, but doesn't mention Doe number one. It stood out to me because I thought Doe number one was the one who said he was an undercover cop, and no undercover cop would ever take part in a gang rape,
I don't know if you know too many undercover cops, and they pretty much do anything when they are infiltrating a mob or a mafia. I'm sure you probably heard stories of other undercover cops who engaged in murder.
Okay, I'll give you that. Let's say he did.
Otherwise,
Ariel?
Yes.
I'll give you that. Okay, I'll give you that. Let's say this guy who identified himself as an undercover cop, and maybe he was and maybe he wasn't, did take part in the attack. Why didn't she name him to the subsequent policing agencies, the Walnut Creek, and then I'm trying to remember what the last one was. There was a third agency that she reported and decided to withhold Diddy's. Yeah, Orinda. She didn't name to Walnut Creek or Orinda Doe number one, but he was clearly in her complaint part of the rape.
So she didn't name anybody who was a part of Diddy's entourage. She didn't name KK. She didn't name the other Jane Doe. So she literally omitted everybody who was a part of Diddy's entourage who showed up that day, the getaway driver. So it doesn't not make sense to me. It makes complete sense. She omitted all of them out of the group. Because then to bring
No,
in
here,
Doe
I'm going to
number
read it
one,
for you. Ariel, sorry, I just found it again. Plaintiff only told Walnut Creek police about the assault from defendants Shane and Doe number 2. That's from the complaint. I'm just taking her words and your words.
No, I'm not. I just said she omitted all of the individuals who showed up with Diddy. She omitted defendant KK. She omitted the defendant who's listed as a Jane Doe, and she also omitted.
But they didn't
Diddy
rape her.
Doe 1. Yes.
According to her, she was raped by Doe number 1, and she was not reported to the police, despite the fact that he was one of the rapists.
We're having a disconnect right here because I'm trying to explain to you. To me, it makes sense, and her explanation makes sense because she didn't mention anybody. She didn't mention anybody from Diddy.
Sorry, this doesn't make any sense as far as I'm concerned, because here's the thing. Now, at the end of the day, if she was going to report it, if you're going to go so far as to report it, then you should be giving the police the names of the people who did it to you. Why would you name other people were there? She didn't name Diddy. She didn't name KK, whom she says was right there helping Diddy, trying to insert something in her vajayjay that was a they called it an IUD, and then it malfunctioned, and then said that he ended up using a remote control. So she didn't name Diddy, and nor did she name the other man who's listed as John Doe. She didn't name him. So this isn't making any sense, okay? Now, and I take that back. The 2 people who she did name, I think maybe they participated because she said there was 3 of them. But the main thing is she claims in her lawsuit filing that Diddy was the one who had her set up because Diddy was ticked off because of what she said about Tupac, basically accusing him of having something to do with Tupac's murder. So I'm sorry. If she wasn't going to name Diddy, the main source, why would she even go to the police? Like, how are you going to go to the police and give them half the story? Like, this ain't making no sense, okay? But not only that, wait till you see the next video, because it gets worse. This lady seems to be lying. I'm sorry. And her attorney seems to know that she's lying. This attorney's starting to look real sketchy to me.
Camp. She didn't mention Doe 1. She didn't mention Diddy. She didn't mention anybody.
No, she did.
To the police.
Your complaint 100% says, I'm reading your words. Plaintiff told Walnut Creek police about the assault from defendants Shane and Doe number 2, but it doesn't mention Doe number 1, and I just don't know why. I understand why she's omitting Diddy if she fears reprisal, but no mention of Doe number 1.
So if you want me to bring you some insight, I'm trying to do that. Because to talk about Doe number 1 is to talk about Diddy. To talk about defendant KK is to talk about Diddy. To talk about the Jane Doe is to bring up Diddy.
Isn't it also to talk about Diddy if you report the grape anyway? Because if the other people were to be arrested and interrogated, aren't they going to say who all was there and what happened, possibly? She's not making any sense, but let's continue.
So it's no way she could bring up Doe number 1 without it leading back to Diddy in some way, shape, or form. So, because that was a person who came with Diddy, who came to the to the house, ready to party.
And she mentions Doe number 2 and Shane. Okay, listen, I have one more big important question for you, Ariel, and I'm very appreciative that and I have to ask hard questions because, you know, when there are so many accusations, I have to do this, and I'll tell you, I'm nothing compared to Diddy's lawyer. He's hiring his dream team, and you know that every, comma is going to get picked apart. When we come back, though, I do want to ask you about this issue. After allegations that she was gang raped and drugged, involved in a knife fight, had knifed Diddy, was shot at, why did the accuser decide to go back to the scene of the actual crime that she did? Thanks for watching. Go to join.
That's not making a darn bit of sense, okay? And like she said, why would she go back to the scene? Let's get into it, because I have several questions. Is all I'm saying. Okay, I have several questions. Because this is not making any sense whatsoever.
They are jaw-dropping allegations. A woman says she was gang raped by P. Diddy and his entourage and drugged as well more than 6 years ago in California. Ashley Parham says the terrifying evening involved a knife fight with Diddy in which she grazed him and being shot at before she could escape with her life. So the big question is why, after she finally escaped this harrowing ordeal, why did she go back to the scene of the crime and then spend the night there? It is part of a brand new lawsuit filed just hours ago against Sean Diddy Combs. I'm joined once again by the accuser's attorney, Ariel Mitchell. Ariel, you're just great to stay with me over 3 blocks. I really appreciate this. Friend of the show, too, I might add. So when I'm tough as a journalist, it's certainly not personal. You know that. That is a huge question. And you just know opposing counsel is going to come at you saying all these horrific things. Literally, she lived a movie, a horror movie. And then after the police leave down the block, she decides to go back to the apartment, let herself in, and then stayed the night. How do you explain that?
So first, I want to tell you, you asked the question that I asked. I said to her the exact same thing. What made you go back? And I knew in my mind, because I've dealt with so many victims, they're really not thinking clearly. And she said, Ariel, I knew you would say that. I knew you would ask me, why did I go back? And she said, honestly, I don't even have a good explanation. All I know is I just really wasn't there. I had on a t-shirt. I was at some strange man's house, the neighbor's house that she didn't know. She just thought she could go get her. She had no purse. She had no keys. She had no cell phone. What was she supposed to do?
Tell you what she was supposed to do. Call a taxi, an Uber, call anybody, anything. Leave with the police. When the police showed up on the scene, why didn't she just leave with them? Tell them she didn't feel safe. I have a whole lot of questions, honey. This math ain't mathing. Okay, but let's continue. Strawberry Quick says, fear will make you do crazy things. Cassie went back to the scene for 10 years. Cassie was in a relationship. A person that's in an abusive relationship is totally different and of a totally different mindset than someone who's being raped and assaulted by someone they don't even know. This lady had no ties to Diddy. She wasn't in a relationship with him. This was the first time that she ever met him. So there's no excuse. And she says that she was gang raped. Go back to the house where it happened. Go back where they told you they could take you up out of here and no one would ever see you again. No, that doesn't make any sense. Yes, people do crazy things, but going back to a scene where you were assaulted so viciously as she described. Okay, did you hear the heinous things that she claims happened to her? For those of you who missed it, go watch my broadcast from last night. She is not telling the truth, okay? She is not telling the truth. That's just what it is.
And she was like, I figured maybe since they left, I could at least go try and get my stuff back. And she said, honestly, I've asked myself that many a times. I know this is probably going to come up to everybody, like, because any person like you and me sitting here logically, not in that situation, not having experienced that, we can sit here and judge all day and say, well, I wouldn't have done that, or that doesn't make any sense. But none of us know what we would do until we were in a similar situation.
That's a damn lie, because I know exactly what I would do. If I got somebody that held me down, put a remote up my vajayjay, and then had 2 or 3 other people help them to assault me in the way she described, what I wouldn't do is go back to the place where it happened. I would be definitely afraid. So afraid that I know I wouldn't go back. I wouldn't want to be anywhere near any of those people or anywhere in their presence. Okay, especially when they threatened her family, according to her, and threatened to let her come up missing and threatened to sell her. Okay, so please make it all make sense. I'm sorry, it's not making any, and the math ain't math, period.
So I've been in situations where I profess, oh, it's no way if I was in this situation, I wouldn't do X, Y, and Z. And then the minute I got in that situation, I did not do any of those things. So I do agree that that was a question. I do agree to a person who's like us, who's not dealing with that or has not experienced something like that. They would say, oh, I wouldn't have gone back. But what would you have done? You have no clothes. You have no means of getting anywhere, no purse. Your car is there, no car keys, no cell phone. and your help, the police, seemingly left you, what other option
If
would
it goes,
you have?
if it goes to a jury, it's a good question. If it goes to the jury, it's going to be the reasonable mind of each juror who would make that decision. Ariel, like I said, I'm super appreciative that you spent this much time and that you helped us sort of navigate through the complaint. And I look forward to, I think we're going to be talking a lot more as this continues to go through the courts, this one and others. Thank you for this.
Thank you.
And I have questions about this attorney. Why is she always on this show talking about her clients and their cases? It seems like she's clout chasing. I think that her and her client are just after a bag. I'm sorry, but that's just the way I feel. Because I know Diddy is nefarious, and I believe most of the things that these people are saying about him are absolutely true. That's what I believe. But what I don't believe is her story, because it is not making any sense, okay? It is not making any sense. First of all, who in their right mind, okay, it's going to go back where these people did these awful things to her, according to her? Another thing is, I thought it was sketchy too when she said that she chased Diddy with a knife. That sounded kind of suspect to me, but I'm like, okay, maybe she was this full of rage or whatever, as anyone would and should be. But now I don't even really believe that, okay? Because one man had a gun. She said he fired the gun and Diddy took off running and she chased him. So I'm sorry, this story is not making any sense. GK said, was she rugged? Was she? That's a good question. I think she was. Yeah, she was. She absolutely was. She said that they put this oil on her, or he took something out of a fanny pack and squirted on her or whatever. And then she said they left her in there with a limp body. They went out into the backyard and all of that to smoke cigarettes and Mary Jane. And then says that when she finally came back to her senses and got control of her body or whatever, she grabbed an oversized t-shirt and a knife, and she realized that she had to go past Diddy to get to the exit. So here's the question. If you're just going to stay at the same place that you already were assaulted at, why would you even try to leave? What was the point in trying to leave? Okay? I mean, it's not making any sense. It's just not making any sense. I'm sorry. I don't believe her. I don't believe her. Okay? I absolutely do not. Now, maybe I'll be proven wrong, but until then, her story just sounds sketchy. Okay? Please pay attention. Now, with that all being said, up, everyone, please like and share. Because here's the thing. This model by the name of Precious Muir, she talks about her night at a Diddy party. Okay, so let's get into it. And here's the thing. She's from the UK. Now, why is that interesting? Because the feds went to the UK weeks ago to see if they could find any Diddy victims. Y'all remember that? So let's get into it. Up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Okay, here we go.
I literally took one sip of my beverage and the whole side of my face felt like I had a stroke.
When I was at Diddy's parties, I met Diddy.
Just be aware. Diddy's the host and Diddy is the leader.
I'm Precious Muir. I'm from London, England. I'm a TV broadcaster and TV personality. Best known for being in The Circle, but it's not the only thing that I'm known for.
But I had like a whole 10-year career as a model in Manhattan, New York for my whole entire 20s. I was there in 2005. A lot of jobs that models got back then was networking. Back then, we didn't have the luxury of social media. We didn't have the luxury of Instagram where we could DM a brand directly. We had to rely on our manager, our booker, our agent. And if they didn't have those connections, we had to make those connections. And so going to parties was not even just an option, it was part of, our job. I actually was approached by a VIP host, I guess we would call him a club promoter, who basically was the person that helped organise a Diddy party. They would often shuttle us over in a shuttle bus or SUVs. I was nervous, I was excited, I couldn't believe I was invited, you know, to be amongst these kind of people because I hadn't made a name for myself. I was still trying to establish myself in this industry. I wanted to make connections. And I was so young. Like, I felt like I was like just trying to figure out what to do with my career and how else to further my career otherwise. However many seats could hold, you know, all these models to go to these parties, they just put us all in there and took us to the party. I was at a party that had a lot of entertainment industry people, musicians, singers, rappers, and I literally took one sip of my beverage and the whole side of my face felt like I had a stroke. I remember this like it was yesterday, and I just met these people.
People would slip stuff into the drinks that were out. So it might have been in the mixers, it might have been in like anything. So you had to be super careful. There's so many traps that you could fall into and you had to be aware of all of them. I mean, there was a lot of girls that didn't make it. There was a lot of girls that gave up modeling. There was a lot of girls that went into therapy. There was a lot of girls that went into rehab. There was a lot of girls that just went home.
One thing that concerned me the most was seeing children. I was like, why would a parent, as much as it's a day party, as much as it's the Hamptons, like, why would you bring your child to something like this? There's a lot of girls that were there to try to impress people. They were hooking up in the pool, kissing and touching and groping each other naked in the pool. There was a lot of dancers performing, you know, dancers around in different outfits and stuff like that. Like, this is not an atmosphere for children at all.
I think the Diddy parties, the later it got, the worse it got. So everybody's been drinking all day. Everyone's loosened up. Things got a bit more aggressive. Girls that looked like video vixens would arrive, shaped in a different way. So they had very big bums, big breasts, porn stars as well. And they would be grinding and dancing half naked all over the rappers. Extreme tension of sex around us. So those types of girls would do anything. There was parts of the house that you can go, more drug taking, more drinking. I did see girls hooking up, people having sex. I did see two men kissing. Like, that stuff did happen later towards the end of the evening. Like, that was around us. We saw that. We were like these little rabbits and they were like these wolves that would surround you. And you felt like you were fresh meat. Yeah. You were watched a lot, like with your phone. So they'd be like, oh, you know, don't take too many pictures and stuff like that because this is a private setting. Yeah, security was quite on that, you know, don't take too many pictures or, you know, just capturing too much of what's going on here in the party, like very exclusive, very private. Because there's a lot of people and there's a lot of big names there. It's a lot of big celebrities. I saw a lot of big celebrities at these parties. In the first time I ever met Hugh Hefner, we took a picture and he groped my ass. That's in your mind forever. You feel like you're a form of entertainment and it was uncomfortable. You don't want to upset them because they had a way of trying to manipulate you to think, if you don't do what I say, I can ruin your career. So there's a lot of pressure on a young girl in a new place. And then you think, well, why do I have to do this to get there? Why can't I just do it the right way? It's when you start to participate in the drug taking, that is when things escalate into something different. When I was at Diddy's parties, I met Diddy. I met Cassie. He is a very unique individual. You can sense that he likes to be in control. And I don't think anyone really ever says no to him. I kept my distance because I met him not only at his house in Hamptons, but I also saw him a lot in Manhattan, in New York. And I was always concerned about rappers coming on to me, and I don't look like those girls with, you know, with voluptuous, I look like a girl. The drug taking was very, very casual. Hearing all the allegations and knowing the actual details of it all, I am disgusted, but I'm not surprised at all about the accusations that has come out against Diddy. The fact that it was filmed against the person's knowledge, I think is wrong. All these celebrities that were at these parties are still celebrities and very big names now.
So she said all of these celebrities who were at the parties are still celebrities and very big names now. Well, I'd like to know who some of them were. But at the end of the day, I'm not surprised, and nor should any of us be. We've already heard these stories. Okay? Now, with that all being said, let's get into what this legal expert has to say about Diddy. Like stuff, everyone, please like and share. I'm going to put an overlay on the screen. Then we're going to listen to this, and then we got to get into Kabami. Okay? That's what we got to talk about. That's what I'm here for, people. Please pay attention.
I went to those freak offs. I saw what it was all about. What are you thinking when you hear that yet another person's coming forward with these accusations?
Well, it's difficult to see because there's so many people coming forward that I think there's going to be a very big question by the defense as to what exactly is admissible, and if this person was actually a victim or were just at a party where they saw things that necessarily weren't illegal if they weren't a victim and didn't see exactly what made it illegal. So that's an interesting question here, because I don't think some of the people were actually victims that are coming forward. They saw things, but I don't know if they saw all the details. And especially when it gets to be an issue of sexual assaults or things of that nature, is did they hear non-consent or consent where it was coming? So I think we're going to hear some new areas of admissibility of evidence in this case that we haven't heard before.
Yeah, that's a good point. This person, Precious, who she has like a massive following on Instagram, she's not alleging that she was sexually assaulted, just that she witnessed some questionable things at these freak offs. And I do think you brought up a good point about the defense.
I grew up always on the bigger side as a
Oh, okay. Is she just there saying, you know, she saw it? What can come in? And I guess that leads to my next question here. She says she moved to New York in 2005, and these freak offs that she saw apparently happened way back then. But now we're in 2024. So could any of that even be admissible anyway?
Well, it depends upon when exactly and what's covering the time frame of these episodes. Was it a continuing conspiracy? Because that always will lengthen the statute of limitations, as to usually it goes to when the last event occurred, not necessarily when it stopped. But these are all going to be very interesting questions, because it's very unusual that you have a trial that goes over such a long period of time with such a variety of people. And I think that's going to be another question too, is by having so many victims in one indictment, is the defendant being prejudiced because people are going to hear so many different witnesses, that are they going to accept that that witness is just for that incident, or are they going to let it roll over into, well, the other person said that as well? That has some serious constitutional questions.
Yeah, when we're talking about the number of people who are alleging these acts of violence at the hands of Diddy, I mean, we're at hundreds. I mean, thousands, actually, if you believe some of the attorneys who are saying, okay, yeah, 12,000 people are calling us reporting that they were allegedly sexually assaulted by Diddy. So dozens, hundreds, thousands. I mean, a lot of people are saying that they were sexually assaulted by P. Diddy. And that brings into question, when it comes time for this trial, which I guess now is May of next year, when it comes time, how many of these victims or survivors are going to testify? I mean, that's obviously an overwhelming number of people, but what do you think the prosecution would want to bring to make sure that their case is as good as it can get?
Well, I would think the prosecution, if they have a strong case, would want to bring less than more, and rely on quality and not quantity, because you've got to have witnesses that are coming straight forward and not opening doors for the defense to create reasonable doubt as to whether or not these people are in fact credible or not. I think a big question is going to be, as well as, if you were a victim, why did it take you so many years to come forward? Or were you just a victim because things didn't work out because you're hoping to advance? And that's going to be a very interesting question. It may not sound like the nicest questions to ask, but it is a question when you're defending someone to see if they're proving beyond a reasonable doubt whether or not that person did not consent to what happened.
And I do think you're bringing up a good point here in that there's so many people who are coming forward that the defense obviously has to be asking a couple of questions. P. Diddy's a huge name, and we've been talking about him, I mean, for months at this point. Now I'm wondering the defense will probably say something like, okay, this is very opportunistic of you. If you actually were sexually assaulted, again, to your point, Mike, why did it take you so long to come forward? So are these things that the defense is going to go through and vet if and when it comes time for all of these witnesses that they know are going to be called for the future trial? Are they going to go through and really make sure that these people have airtight stories?
Oh, absolutely. That's part of our obligation as defense attorneys. I've been on both sides as a prosecutor and a defense attorney, and you have to prepare to make sure that those questions are going to be asked that are relevant to the case, but do not prejudice the jury as to what they're going to decide. And you have to make sure that these witnesses have credibility. And what were the reasons? If it was one of the reasons they delayed was because they had some, and there are some experts who will testify that there's mental health issues that may prevent somebody from reporting something because they're afraid, or was it that I was willing to do this as long as I advanced in my career? And that's going to be the interesting question, I think. I mean, I haven't seen all the discovery in this matter, but that's going to be the interesting question as to where this is going to go.
All right, so I'm going to stop right there. So with that all been said, here's the thing. Yeah, that is going to be a question. Okay, that absolutely is going to be a question, because you have people like Adria English, who said that when Diddy had her to have relations with Jacob the jeweler at one of the parties, she said that she thought she was going to be paid. Now, remember, this is the person who was also represented by Ariel Mitchell Kidd, okay, and who's no longer being represented by her. With that all being said, I just don't, I didn't believe her story after a minute when she said that, because I'm like, I had questions at least. I'm like, is she, upset because she didn't get paid? Because she said she thought she was going to get paid. So if you did this under the presumption that you were going to be paid, that makes it sound consensual. That makes it sound consensual, like you agreed to do it because you thought you were going to get money. And when you didn't, now you want to cry foul. That's what it sounds like to me. And let's not forget that Adria English was supposedly a corn star with a P. Okay? And so I definitely think that she was voluntarily doing it and just didn't get paid and got upset. That's my opinion. Like I said, another client of Ariel Mitchell Kidd's. Her clients just are coming off as sketchy. Her clients are coming off as sketchy. And mind you, Adria English, before she went to Ariel Mitchell Kidd, she actually went to Tyrone Blackburn. There's a reason he didn't take her case. Okay, so please pay attention. Please pay attention. There's a reason he didn't take her case. All right, now, let's talk about Kabami, honey, because Kabami, she got policies for Black men. So let's get into it, because first of all, the policy for Black men's all cap. Okay, anybody who fell for it, it's the banana in the tailpipe, it's a Trojan horse. At the end of the day, it's a last-ditch effort to garner the votes of Black men, because she knows they're not feeling her. Okay? She knows they're not feeling her. So let's get into it. And here's the thing. I want you all to pay very close attention to Chris Cuomo's reaction in this video that I'm about to show you, when Chris Cuomo, in fact, said that, or he was asking this Black man about Kamala's policy. And he didn't like, you could tell it was so obvious he didn't like what the Black man had to say. Okay, before I play that, though, let's have a word from my sponsor at 12 Tribes. Likes up, everyone, please like and share.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
Okay, so you can purchase 12 Tribes at Etsy.com. Look for Lisa Crafts, and you can also find it at Walmart.com. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen.
Is it working? Conservative podcast host Rob Smith is with us, and News Nation correspondent at large Geraldo Rivera, who knows Trump,
hey, Chris.
Is a Republican, but says he has to endorse Kamala Harris for president. And once I get my man in Michigan on, you guys may know him. You may know him, Rob. I know Geraldo does. Charlie LaDuff, Pulitzer Prize winning journalist from the New York Times. Now he's got the No BS News, and he knows Michigan and what's going on there like nobody. So I'll bring in Charlie when I get him. It's good to have you both here. Geraldo, one, what do you make of what Harris is doing, and how has your endorsement of her been received?
Well, it's certainly stirred up a lot of attention. I'm pleased that my opinion still matters, although it should not be news to people. Maybe the voting for Harris part is, but my vow shortly after January 6th was that I will never, ever support Donald Trump again running for office after he attempted his coup, after he unleashed and incited that mob to invade the Capitol. But Harris, I've never been a giant fan of hers, but watching her, I thought with Charlamagne the God, she was the first time I saw her answering in a spontaneous way, in a meaningful, original way that didn't seem scripted to me. She seemed, this was the candidate we've had for the last month, I think she'd be better off, because I do believe, as you suggest, Chris, that this race is Trump's to lose. I think that Harris has faded a bit, and he has come on strong, and he's using the most vile tactics. You're asking about the African-American constituency, but if you're a Latino man and you see what Trump has been saying, the vile poisoning the blood of our country and must be in their genes. I mean, who do Latin men think Trump is talking about? I can't see how there could be any drift among that constituency toward the former president.
Well, we saw it last time. We'll see it now. Let's bring in Rob about this. So we were talking before we came on, and I was saying, you got to forgive a lot of things about Trump to vote for him. And you said, oh, yeah? How would it go over if he said, I'm going to give you free weed, black guys, go enjoy yourselves? That's what Harris's plan is. Yeah. Why isn't that working for you?
Well, the Harris plan doesn't work for me because basically, if black men were a important thing to Kamala Harris, she would not be putting out this little 5-point proposal 3 weeks out of an election. She would not be going out of her way to talk to black men 3 weeks before the election, right? And like I said, if Donald Trump had put out a proposal that said, hey, black men, I want your vote. I'm going to legalize marijuana. Do you know what the Kamala Harris campaign would say about that? It's completely ridiculous. It's disrespectful to black men. And honestly, I don't think that they knew that they were going to get this blowback from the Obama comments, where he basically shamed and denigrated black men for not being excited enough to go vote for Kamala Harris. So what black men are basically saying, and look, I'm not going to say that there's going to be this big groundswell of black support for Donald Trump. I think it's going to be more than 2020. But what black men are saying is you can't bully us, denigrate us, shame us into supporting this woman who may not align with what we agree with. And by the way, illegal immigration is also an issue for black Americans and all Americans. And black men know that the Biden-Harris administration, over 90 executive orders day one, loosened Trump's restrictions on that border, which allowed 10 million illegal immigrants to flood across this country. They're not going to penthouses in New York. They're going to working class black communities, and black men see this.
One quick thing.
Yeah.
Obama's, the way he said it, I'll take your reckoning on.
Yeah.
The idea that this guy has never been for you, not in his private life, not in his public life. How does that land with black? Not that you speak for all black men, but when you heard it as a black man, how does that land for you?
That Donald Trump doesn't, think about me or care about me or anything like that. Is that what you're
That's
saying?
what Obama was saying. Is
Well,
that you'd even consider voting for a guy who has a track record of nothing but painting black men at their worst.
Well, this is what I say to that. Number one, we're not electing a best friend. We're not electing a drinking buddy. We're electing a president. And I think a lot of people, like I said, look, the mainstream media and everybody else has been denigrating Donald Trump for the past 10 years. People know who he is at this point. And I would wager that a lot of black men, a lot of people of color, a lot of people that are non-traditional Trump supporters are basically saying, I'm not voting for a drinking buddy. I'm not voting for a best friend. I'm voting for somebody that is going to secure the border. I'm going to vote for somebody that is going to make the economy stronger than what I've experienced during the Biden-Harris administration.
The new take on the hold the nose vote. That I'm pinching my nose because I don't love either of these people, but at least it works for me.
I'm not saying that they're going to be holding their nose voting because there's a lot of black men that love Trump, all right? There's a lot of black men that cannot wait to go vote for him. But what I'm saying is that there's a contingent of people, and you see the polling looking at this because it's up from 2020. There's a contingent of people right now that are saying, I don't care what the mainstream media has said about this man. My gas was cheaper. My groceries were cheaper.
Pocketbook
my life
politics
was better.
Hey, thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your screen. And don't.
Now, did you all see how he was so condescending with his last remark? Okay, did you all see that? He said, he said pocketbook politics and then cut him off. Oh, was he mad or no? Okay, was he mad or not? As if we're not supposed to be worried about finances. Okay, he sounds real stupid at the end of the day. Yeah, he cut him off because he didn't like what he said. And then he said pocketbook politics, as if nobody should be concerned about economics. Please miss me with it, sir. Okay, I don't care who you want people to vote for. We'll vote for whoever the hell we want. Okay, please pay attention. Now, with that all being said, and this whole thing that Kabami's got out here talking about it for black men, she is all cap full of BS, and I'm going to break it on down. But before I do, let's go to the audio town hall that she had with Charlamagne the devil. Let's get into it because at the end of the day, Kamala Harris, to be honest, she's just a liar who lies, okay? Red Wine Entertainment said they can't handle the truth. Exactly. Really what ticks me off is why does everybody think that they can tell black people who to vote for? Why does everybody feel so comfortable trying to come for black people, specifically black men, because they're not voting in the way they want them to? Who do these people think they are? Or better yet, who do they think black men are? Their children? Okay, please miss me with it. At the end of the day, they sent Barry out there. All right. And I have several questions for Barry. I have several questions for him. Hold on. Like up, everyone, please like and share. Because let's not forget about this. Okay? Let's not forget about this. This is Nobama. And yes, I said Nobama. Now, somebody, please, if you can, tell me why we should listen to this fool right here. Let's get into it.
We invest. Can I get some water? Come on up here. I want a glass of water.
Get a bottle. Bottle water.
I want a glass of water. Everybody settle down. This is a feisty crowd. Thank you. I really did need a glass of water. This is not a stunt.
What? He wet his lips. He did not drink it. He didn't sip it. He wet his lips.
There was an audible gasp in the audience. People were just like absolutely dejected. Why would you do that?
I am sure that somewhere when I was 2 years old, I was taking a chip of paint, tasting it, and I got some lead.
Yeah, that's like talking about like, well, I didn't wear a seatbelt and I'm fine. It's like, but there were tons of people that died.
Backstage, the president sitting at the table with the criminal governor, decided to perform his stunt all over again.
Generally I have not been doing stunts here, but
That's not what I expected. That's what Snyder did.
It felt like he minimized like what people are actually going through and struggling with. If you were actually lead poisoned, you would not be president. You would be janitor Barack Obama.
We were holding on to hope that he would declare a disaster area. A disaster would give us FEMA. It would give us pipe replacement, get engineers in here. Then we could get Medicare for all the residents of Flint. As soon as he took a drink of the water and said everything's fine, that was that.
And look at it, years later, it's still poison.
Okay, that's when I knew for a fact that Obama is a shite. Okay, that's when I knew for a fact. Talking about when he was 2, he knows he was somewhere and put a piece of paint in his mouth and got some lead. Like, get the F out of here. First of all, Obama grew up wealthy. Okay, he grew up wealthy. Like, sit down somewhere. Trying to act like this is something that's just common. It's no big deal. I mean, it's the nerve of him for me. It is a nerve of him for me. But anyway, what happened to that chef of his that drowned in 8 feet of water, who was supposed to be an avid swimmer? I have a whole lot of questions, Obama. I have a whole lot of questions. But let's get into Kabami. Lights up, everyone, please like and share. Let's get into Kabami at this town hall and hear what she had to say. Now I'm going to put up an overlay.
My rallies, say the same thing when I go to Detroit as I do in Philly, as I do wherever I am, to make sure that people hear
the Rivera reverse. Let me just rewind this back. Let me just rewind this back so you all can hear what he asked her. I didn't mean to rewind it back that far. Hold on.
President Kamala Harris in conversation with Charlamagne the God, live from Detroit, Michigan, and exclusively on iHeartRadio. We'll tackle the tough questions, the pressing issues, and the future of our nation. Now, here's your host, Charlamagne the God.
Yes, peace to the planet. Charlamagne the God here with Madam Vice President Kamala Harris. How are you?
Very well, Charlamagne. How you doing?
Listen, we got 20 days and 60 minutes, so we just need to get to it.
I'm with you. Although it's 21 days.
How are you? Because you did just walk in. You was kind of late, so.
Well, I try to be on time. Apparently, I'm 40 seconds late. You're right.
Well, you are black. So okay. Now, now, one thing they've been saying, a lot of your press hits get criticized. Folks say you come off as very scripted. They say you like to stick to your talking points, and some media says you have.
That would be called discipline.
Oh, okay. Speak to that.
But go on.
No, okay. Some people say you have an inability to fearlessly say who you are and what you believe. I know that's not true. But what do you say to that criticism? And is it fair for SNL to make fun of it?
Hasn't Maya Rudolph been wonderful?
Yes.
I think I have nothing but admiration for the comedy, and I think it's important to be able to laugh at yourself and each other.
But what do you say to people
in the spirit of obviously comedy and not belittling people as my opponent would do?
But what do you say to people who say you stay on the talking points?
I would say you're welcome.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, listen, here's the thing. I love having conversations, which is why I'm so happy to be with you this afternoon. And the reality is that there are certain things that must be repeated to ensure that I have everyone know what I stand for and the issues that I think are at stake in this election.
Mm-hmm.
And so it requires repetition. Some people say that until someone has heard the same thing at least 3 times, it just doesn't stay with you. So repetition is important. And for that reason, yes, at my rallies, I say the same thing when I go to Detroit as I do in Philly, as I do wherever I am, to make sure that people hear and receive what I think are some of the most critical issues that are at stake in this election.
First of all, I'm calling cap on that. Now, when he said that people think she's having a script and she keeps saying the same thing over and over, first of all, she's trying to justify her word salad. it. Like, girl, you cannot justify that, okay, at the end of the day. And then she said, some people say you have to hear things 3 times before you get it. No, you don't. Who says that? I've never heard anyone say that ever. And at the end of the day, she says she wants to, make sure that people are getting certain points that she's talking about. Well, here's the thing. I don't need to hear repetitively every time she speaks about how her mother raised her in a middle-class neighborhood, came here as an immigrant, and all this and that. I don't need to hear that. What the hell does that have to do with the election? Besides nothing. Okay, now let's continue.
There has to be a high level of anxiety too when you have these conversations, though, because you are running for president.
I mean, you know what? There's certainly a lot of, I feel the weight of the moment and my role. I feel an extraordinary weight of responsibility right now to do everything I can. I'm telling you, Charlamagne, when I go to bed at night, I almost every night, in addition to my prayers, will ask, have I done everything I could do today? This is a margin of error race. It's tight. I'm going to win. I'm going to win. But it's tight. And, what is at stake?
She confidently can say that she's going to win because I told you guys, the fix is already in as far as I'm concerned. That's my opinion.
It is truly profound and almost and historic, many would say. And it's about, some people would say this lofty notion of supporting and preserving our democracy. But it is about real issues that affect people every day, like whether we're going to maintain a $35 cap on insulin for our seniors, whether we're going to continue to allow Medicare to negotiate drug prices to bring them down, whether we are going to have, as my opponent would have, a formalized stop and frisk policy, for which he has said if a police department does not do it, they should be defunded or not. There is so much at stake, whether America is going to stand on its principles around the importance of sovereignty and territorial integrity and stand with our allies around the world, or whether we're going to admire dictators and send, during the height of COVID and the pandemic, COVID tests that nobody could get to the president of Russia for his personal use when Black people were dying every day by the hundreds during that time.
Yeah, I feel like that one has gone over people's heads, the fact that he was sending COVID tests to Putin.
I mean, I invite, your listeners, the people we know, the number of people who lost their grandparents and parents. Remember what that was like during the height of COVID? And a lot of it, people were scrambling for the resources and needed tests. And Donald Trump, during that time, secretly sent COVID tests to the president of Russia, who, by the way, do not forget, in the 2016 election, because I was a member of the Senate Intelligence Committee when we investigated it, targeted Black voters in 2016 with mis and disinformation to discourage Black people from voting in that election. And this is just another of the very many examples of who Donald Trump really.
You know what I find interesting? Every time she talks, she's always talking trash about Trump rather than talking about herself and her policies for the most part. But then her and Tim Walz will get up there and say that Trump's always attacking his enemies. Isn't that what they do? Like, I am so sick of the Democrats. Please pay attention.
And the danger he presents to real people.
Sending COVID tests to Russia, that doesn't sound very America first at all. But
sending COVID tests to Russia might be a problem for them, but at the end of the day, mandates making people take venom was a problem for us. But let's continue.
It's not just you versus Trump, it's you versus misinformation.
Yes, that's true.
Right? And one of the biggest pieces of misinformation, one of the biggest allegations against you is that you targeted and locked up thousands of Black men in San Francisco for weed. Some say you did it to boost your career. Some say you did it out of pure hate for Black men. Please tell us the facts. What's the facts of that situation?
It's just simply not true. And what public defenders who are around those days will tell you, I was the most progressive prosecutor in California on marijuana cases. and would not send people to jail for simple possession of weed. And as vice president, have been a champion for bringing marijuana down on the schedule. So instead of it being ranked up there with heroin, we bring it down. And my pledge is, as president, I will work on decriminalizing it, because I know exactly how those laws have been used to disproportionately impact certain populations, and specifically Black men.
Mm-hmm. Before we get into the talkback feature and take some questions from the audience, I do want to talk to you about the legalization of weed, because you're saying you want to legalize it now. What steps did the Biden administration take to get closer to that reality?
So we had to work with the DEA, and there's a certain level of bureaucracy that exists in the federal government that slows things down. But essentially, to bring down how weed is classified, how marijuana is classified, to make it classified as a lesser harm. Mm-hmm. And so that took some time. There's a whole process around that, but that's the work that we have done, in addition to work that we have done writ large on criminal justice reform.
Okay, let's take some calls. Let's go to the talkback feature.
My question for Kamala is, why are we, and I say we because my tax dollars is sending the money, why are we sending money to other countries when we desperately need it in our own country for homeless, housing, resources, for whatever? That is my determining factor if I vote for Kamala or not.
What does she have to say to that? I can't wait to hear this answer.
That's one of the reasons the America First rhetoric resonates, because nobody in America would complain about where money was going if American citizens' everyday needs were being met. So what do you say to that?
Prior to Contrave, my eating habits were horrendous. It wasn't until I found a nurse.
We can do it all, and we do. So first of all, I maintain very strongly America should never pull ourselves away from our responsibility as a world leader. And that is in the best interest of our national security and each one of us as Americans and our standing in the world. That being said, we also have an obligation to American citizens, obviously, and people who are here to meet their everyday needs and challenges, which is why, for example, we have done the work in the last 4 years of bringing down the cost of prescription medication, whether it be $35 a month.
I am so sick of her talking about bringing down the cost of medication. Now she's going to go back to the diabetes, insulin, and how she brought that down. At the end of the day, girl, that's not telling us what we want to know. Why the hell are y'all sending all this money over to Ukraine, Israel, and everywhere else? And then people are over here living on the streets. And there's no mental health facilities, okay, to adequately accommodate people who have mental health issues. Like, really? Is she serious right now? She's sitting the same old tired talking points. But let's continue.
For seniors for insulin, or $2,000 a year cap on prescription medication. What we have done that has been about putting $17 billion in our HBCUs. I am proud to be the first HBCU vice president of the United States. I intend to be the first HBCU president of the United States.
Let's not act like Trump didn't send millions to the HBCUs too. Let's not act like that, in case y'all missed it.
Those resources are about sending them to centers of academic excellence that I know them to be. The work that I continue to do is about increasing access to capital for our small businesses. It is about increasing the opportunity for home ownership, knowing that Black people are 40% less likely to be homeowners in America. We have a history of legal and procedural obstacles to that home ownership, starting with the fact nobody got 40 acres and a mule, to redlining, to issues that this Detroit area and people around the country know to be real. So part of my plan is that we're going to give people a $25,000 down payment assistance to get their foot in the door to buy a home for first-time home buyers. The work that I'm going to do to increase housing supply in America, knowing that that's one of the reasons that rents and housing prices are jacked up, and to work with the private sector, cut through the red tape, and work to build more housing, 3 million before the end of my first term. And I give these examples, and there are many more which I will offer. So, for example, the work that I will do to extend the child tax credit to $6,000 for young families during the first year of their child's life. Because as you and I both know, our families all have a natural desire to parent their children well, but not always the resources. So by expanding the child tax credit to the first year of a child's life to $6,000, that gives that young family the ability to buy a car seat or a...
How many times have we heard her talk about buying a damn car seat? How many times have we heard her talk about it? But hold on, let me interject for a minute, because some people always be saying, well, what did Trump do for black people? And I told y'all a myriad of things he's done, but let's talk about this. Since she brought up HBCUs, let me just bring this back to the forefront. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Hold on, I'm going to share my screen. Okay, now y'all see that? Y'all see that, right? Okay, let's go back to the share with Kabami. Now I'm going to put her on pause for a second, but let's talk about it, because this is from December 19th of 2019. President Donald Trump on Thursday signed a bipartisan bill that would permanently provide more than $250 million a year to the nation's historically black colleges and universities, along with dozens of other institutions that serve large shares of minority students. In signing the bill, Trump said historically black schools have never had better champions in the White House. When I took office, I promised to fight for HBCUs, and my administration continues to deliver. Okay, so please pay attention. A few months ago, funding for HBCUs was in jeopardy, but the White House and Congress came together and reached a historic agreement. Okay, I'm sorry, say what? Michael Lomax, president and CEO of the United Negro College Fund, thanked Trump and the thousands of advocates who lobbied Congress to support the bill, saying that we enlisted more than 20,000 supporters to write and call their members of Congress. This activated an army of advocates who became the frontline supports for HBCUs, and they won the battle for our institutions. Now, the bill restores $255 million in annual funding that lapsed September the 30th after Congress failed to renew it. Facing an end to the funding, some schools have started planning for deep cuts, with some telling staff their jobs or programs were eliminated. So I'm sorry, Kamala, don't sit up here and act like Trump was making black folks lose their jobs. Okay, because that happened under her and Biden's watch with those darn mandates. Well, you see, when they had those mandates that are so nefarious, where people had to do whatever they told them to do and whatnot, please pay attention. At the end of the day, that's when people lost their jobs. Okay, that's when people lost their jobs. At the end of the day, people couldn't go to work. They got fired because they refused. They refused to take venom. Now, I'm sorry, please make that make sense. Okay? Please make that all make sense. Support the arts. Support the arts absolutely loves Kabami. Okay, so I just have questions. That's all I'm saying. All right. Miss me with it. But let's continue with the BS, because that's all this is a load of BS. And when I whip out her policy that she claims is for black men specifically, I'm really going to prove that she's full of BS.
Crib or clothes, the things that are so important during that critical phase of that child's development, so that they can get on the road and actually have a chance at succeeding.
You know, you said we can do it all, but can we? Because, you know, Tupac famously said, you know, we got money for war, but can't feed the poor, right? And I saw President Obama say last week that, you know, you really shouldn't expect, you know, a president to rid the world of all of its problems. And so is it fair to tell people, hey, we can do it all? Because that's when people get disappointed, when things don't happen.
But I think President Obama is absolutely correct, but it doesn't mean we can't do anything.
That's right.
So when I talk about extending the child tax credit, when I was vice president, I pushed that we would do it during our first year. And we reduced black child poverty in America by 50%. We did that. Mm-hmm. We can do that. My plan that is about building up home ownership in the black community, we can do that. My work that has been about increasing access to capital, bringing billions more dollars into our community banks, which I've done as vice president through cooperation and partnership with some of the big banks and tech companies to get more access to capital for our entrepreneurs, for our businesses. We've done that. So we should never sit back and say, okay, I'm not going to vote because everything hasn't been solved. I share a desire that everything should be solved, by the way. I think it is what we should all want. But that shouldn't stand in the way of us also knowing we can participate in a process that's about improving things. And by voting in this election, you have two choices, or you don't vote, but you have two choices if you do. And it's two very different visions for our nation. One mind that is about taking us forward and progress and investing in the American people, investing in their ambitions, dealing with their challenges. And the other, Donald Trump, is about taking us backward.
The other is about fascism. Why can't we just say it?
Yes, we can say that.
Yeah. Reverend Solomon Kinlock Jr., I want you to meet him. He is the senior pastor of Triumph Church. Where's Reverend Kinlock?
Oh, he's here.
Come on, tell Secret Service, move out the way. It's okay. It's just the Reverend. Yeah, all right.
Are you drowning in payday loan debt? Have you taken out multiple payday loans and are unable to pay them back?
Hey, Reverend.
What's up, Reverend?
Madam Vice President Charlamagne,
Yes,
thank
sir.
y'all for being in Detroit tonight.
Thank you.
Recently, Madam Vice President, by one of Trump's surrogates from the Black faith-based community, you've been criticized by him and others for your lack of engagement to the Black church. Knowing that the Black church is an unrivaled place in the heart of Black people.
Let me just stop right there. Yes, she has not been at the Black church like the Democrats normally do. Rather than go herself, she sent Bill Clinton. Please pay attention.
What could you speak to as it relates to a future Harris administration, how you would partner with the Black church to address some of the urgent needs of the Black community? Dr. King talked about the fierce urgency of right now, and as a church, Triumph Church is in that place.
So first of all, that allegation, of course, is coming from the Trump team because they are full of mis and disinformation because they are trying to disconnect me from the people I have worked with and that I am from so that they can try and have some advantage in this election because otherwise they have no.
Girl, that's exactly what you're doing to Trump right now. Are y'all hearing this? She is such a whole hypocrite. Sitting there saying that's coming from the Trump camp because they're trying to say whatever. That's exactly what she's doing. That's all she keeps talking about is Trump. Okay, this man asked you how you plan to partner with the Black church. Okay, and as far as Trump having put that out, or the Republicans, at the end of the day, it's obvious for Black people to see that you have not been to the Black church. You sent Bill Clinton, who clearly didn't want to be there. Please pay attention.
Nothing to run on. I grew up in the Black church. I grew up attending 23rd Avenue Church of God in Oakland, California.
That's church.
Yes, that is church. My pastor is Amos C. Brown of Third Baptist Church in San Francisco, California.
Yes.
I have throughout my career and as vice president and recently been actively engaged in the church and church leaders, not only so we can share in fellowship, but so we can share in what we can do together that is about supporting the community, the strength of the community, the cohesion of the community. And it is my long-standing work and therefore my pledge going forward. I will always work closely with the church.
More cap. She's talking about she grew up in the church. When? Till you were 8? Because you grew up in Canada, let us not forget. And this is the same person who said that her family for generations has been celebrating Kwanzaa. Y'all remember that? I showed you the clip the other day, said that her family has been celebrating Kwanzaa. Why would they be celebrating Kwanzaa? Girl, sit down somewhere. First of all, Kwanzaa was invented in 1966. She was born in 1964. Okay? But for generations, they have been celebrating Kwanzaa. Like, sit down somewhere.
Because I understand who our church leaders are and who the congregation is. We are talking about people who are driven by faith and the ability to see what is possible by faith, where I was raised, and I know many of us were, understanding that our God is a loving God, that our faith propels us to act in a way that is about kindness and justice and mercy, that is about lifting one another up. And let's talk about the contrast here Donald Trump and his followers spend full time trying to suggest that the measure of the strength of a leader is based on who you beat down, which is absolutely contrary to the church.
But she's sitting here beating him down. I want you all to pay attention. This lady is hilarious to me. She sits here and keeps talking about Donald Trump, saying all the negative things about him, but then she'll say that this is what he does, and he beats people down. Girl, you're beating him down right now. Please sit down somewhere. I absolutely can't. I absolutely can't.
Church I know.
He sells Bibles, though.
Where our church and my church is about saying true leadership, the measure of that is based on who you lift up. And and then he's selling $60 Bibles or tennis shoes, and trying to play people as though that makes him more understanding of the Black community. Come on.
If you've been getting scam texts like these, it was me. I said that probably means your date has been leaked. And
Thank you.
Now, I know she didn't just say that. Now, I know she didn't just say that he's doing that for the Black to try to play the Black community, or to seem like he's more in touch with the Black community. Isn't that what she does? Isn't that why she lied about Kwanzaa? Isn't that why she tells all these lies and uses a Black scent when talking to Black folk? Okay, Negro's official says she sounds obsessed. That's because she is. Can she go a day? Can she answer one single question without bringing up Trump's name? But let's continue, because this is all nefarious.
Thank you for the correction.
Thank you, Reverend.
And God is good.
Again.
Every day, all the time.
There you go. I had to make sure you get that right. Now, have you seen the clip, Madam Vice President, from the griot? It's a clip that's kind of out of context, and it says that you won't do anything specifically for Black people. Have you seen that?
I've not seen that.
Well, it's a clip that has you saying that you're not going to do anything specifically for Black people.
Well, that's just not true. And listen, again, you said it at the beginning of this visit, Charlamagne.
Wait a second. Wait a damn minute here. How is that not true? When she literally said she wasn't going to do anything specific for Black people. Are we supposed to have forgotten that she ever said that? How is this not true? When she literally said, no, I'm not going to do anything specifically for Black people. No, let's be very clear. Now she's saying that that's all cap. You see what I'm talking about? She can't even remember her lies, but let's continue.
One of the biggest challenges that I face is mis and disinformation.
Mm-hmm.
And it's purposeful because it is meant to convince people that they somehow should not believe that the work that I have done has occurred and has meaning. My work from the beginning of my career through today has been about, for example, we've talked about it, whether it be on HBCUs, whether it be on healthcare, Black maternal mortality. I am singularly, many would say, one of the highest level leaders in our country to bring the issue of Black maternal mortality to the stage of the White House to address it. The work that I've done that has been about focusing on my knowledge and my experience and my life experience of knowing the entrepreneurship that we have in the community, the ambition, the aspirations, the dreams, and then tapping into that so that not only has my work been about ensuring that we have some of the lowest Black unemployment ever in our country, but that also knowing that that should be a baseline that everybody has a job. And what we should be invested in is also building wealth in the community and intergenerational wealth. And I have many, many examples of that. But again, part of the challenge that I face is that they are trying to scare people away because they know they otherwise have nothing to run on. Ask Donald Trump what his plan.
No, I know she didn't go there. More hypocrisy. You all, please pay attention. I literally showed you. Don't make me have to pull up the footage again. She's saying they're running on fear, like scaring people, because that's all they have to run on. Isn't she the one that was, I showed you clips, numerous clips. I think it was yesterday, where she just kept saying, Trump, it's dangerous. Oh, Trump's trying to take us back. And then you had Tim Walz parroting those same points. The Democrats are the ones who fearmonger. They're the ones who fearmonger, and then they get Obama to come out there and try to cape for her. And at the end of the day, let's not forget that when Obama was talking to those Black men, that was all staged, first of all, in my opinion, at the end of the day. But when he was up there talking If you notice, he said to the black men, and so you don't want to, starting to feel to me like you don't want a woman in office. And so now you're trying to come up with these excuses, for sitting home or for not voting. I forget exactly how he phrased it, but he basically claimed that they were going to sit at home. He didn't want to admit that, no, they're not sitting at home. Many of them are going to vote for Trump. That's just what it is.
And it's for Black America. Ask him. I'll tell you what it is. Look at Project 2025. Project 2025 tells you the plan includes.
I'm so glad she brought that up because the executive, one of the founding trustees of Project 2021, as I told you guys, do I need to pull the receipt again because I showed it to you? He endorsed Kabami. So if Trump, who has publicly denounced Project 2025 at least 3 times, the person who is one of the founding trustees endorsed Kamala. So who's really for Project 2025? DJ Big Six just put it in the chat. Thank you. Exactly my point. Okay, exactly my point.
Making police departments have stop and frisk policies. The plan includes making it more difficult for workers to receive overtime pay. The plan includes ending the ability of Medicare to negotiate drug prices. You know what we have done? He said he would. We did, which means that's how we brought down the cost of prescription medication. His plan includes making it more difficult for working people to get by and to destroy our democracy. You know what he says he'll do? Terminate the Constitution of the United States.
That's right.
Let me remind folks, you know what's in the Constitution of the United States? The 4th Amendment, which protects you against unreasonable searches and seizures. The 5th Amendment, the 6th Amendment, the 14th Amendment, and he's going to terminate the Constitution of the United States?
Now, what I want you all to pay attention to is the fact that when she was naming amendments, she didn't name the main one. And that's the First Amendment for freedom of speech. And why didn't she name that? Because her and her friends, the Democrats, they've already terminated that one. So please sit down somewhere. I'm done here. I'm going to stop right there because this is like an hour long and I clearly don't want to listen to her for an hour. But here's the thing. I'm going to play Van Jones, his thoughts on the town hall with Charlamagne the Devil. Now, I haven't watched this, and I hope and pray that he doesn't start crying like he usually does. Okay, but before I do, let me go ahead and play that first. Meanwhile, I'll be getting her policy together so I can just break this on down because she's full of cap. Okay, trust me, I've read it. Here we go. Likes up, everyone. Please like and share. Thank you in advance, beloveds.
Rude. His way of trying to name call and demean and divide tries to project as though those things are a sign of strength, when in fact the man is really quite weak. He's weak. It's a sign of weakness that you want to please dictators and seek their flattery and favor. It's a sign of weakness that you would demean America's military and America's service members. It's a sign of weakness that you don't have the courage to stand up for the Constitution of the United States and the principles upon which it stands. This man is weak and he is unfit.
President Obama was out there last week waving his finger at black men. When are Liz Cheney and Hillary Clinton going to wave their finger at white women? When are Bill Clinton and Joe Biden going to wave their finger at white men? Because 52% of white women voted for Trump in 2016. 55% voted for Trump in 2020. They all voted against their own interests. When the finger waving going to start at them?
Well, thank you for highlighting that. I do have the support of over 200 Republicans who worked for various administrations including everyone going back to Ronald Reagan, to the Bushes, to John McCain and Mitt Romney, and including Liz Cheney. And I'm very proud to have her support. And I believe that many of them who may have voted for Trump before are supporting me because they know the stakes are so high in terms of our very democracy and rule of law. And
so the finger wagging should start today or tomorrow.
Well, I think what is happening is that we are all working on reminding people of what is at stake, and that is very important.
Look, first of all, A+, A++. I don't know how many pluses you can put on a report card with an A, but that was just awesome. She did extraordinarily well. There's stuff going on, if you're not from the Black community, you may have missed. When the pastor came off and at the end he said, God is good. She said every day, all the time. That is, if you don't think Kamala Harris is Black, for her to know the way you answer
is he serious right now? Is he really serious? Is he really serious? That's how we're supposed to know she's Black? Because she said every day, all the time. Because I don't usually say every day, all the time. When somebody says God is good, I say all the time. But even if she said it correctly, that still doesn't mean she's Black. Okay? She also said that she was out there in these streets. That's what she told Taraji P. Henson. That doesn't mean that she's Black either. So please sit down somewhere, Van Jones. We next, aka DSB. Thank you for your contribution to the channel, beloved. Peace, love, and blessings. Says, I am still stuck on Harris saying she never said no. Like, wow, couch for sure. I know that's right, beloved, and I can't blame you. But let's continue with the buffoonery.
Pastor, when he says God is good, you answer all the time. They're trying to say online, if you don't understand this, that she's not Black, she ain't really Black, blah, blah, blah. She was comfortable in her skin. She was fluid. She talked about stuff that Black folks really care about. She got to the prostate cancer that's going on. It's ripping us apart. She did a magnificent job. And my only thing is, put her out there all the time. Give her her own radio show. The more you listen to Kamala Harris, the more you understand that she is nuanced on policy. She does know how to make these connections between what people are going through. I just thought she did a fantastic job. That's the best she's done since she ripped Donald Trump apart on the debate stage.
A Chewy order is on the way for Cash, everyone's favorite employee at Bill's Bodega.
Okay, he needs to sit down somewhere. I'm sorry. Please make yourself make sense, Van Jones. All right? Please make yourself make sense. So let's talk about this policy of hers, okay? Because she thinks she's got people fooled. Honey, the only people she has fooled are the fools. Please pay attention. Now, I'm going to share my screen so we can go over this policy. Because it's all cap. Now, I just want y'all to pay attention. That's what it is. That's what it is. Now I can turn this music off. Hold on, beloveds. I had this on because I didn't have permission to use that video. Okay, so now let's talk about it. Now, here's what it says. I'm not going to read the whole thing because it starts up here talking about the opportunity economy. Okay, I'm going to start right here. This year, Vice President Harris launched a first-of-its-kind nationwide economic opportunity tour to help entrepreneurs accept the capital and resources they need to launch and grow their businesses, to build wealth and strengthen their communities, especially Black male entrepreneurs. Now, here's what I want you all to pay attention to, honey, because the devil is always in the details. You see, this is not specifically for Black men. Okay, this is not specifically for Black men, as she would have you all to think. And if you didn't bother to read it, you may fall for it. But let me just read that again. This year, Vice President Harris launched a first-of-its-kind nationwide economic opportunity tour to help entrepreneurs. That means anybody. That means all entrepreneurs. That doesn't mean Black men specifically. to access the capital and resources they need to launch and grow their businesses, build wealth, and strengthen their communities, especially Black male entrepreneurs. Now, let me just say this before I continue, because you see, when she was sitting there talking to Charlamagne the Devil, and he asked her about her not doing anything specifically for Black people, she said that was a lie. But girl, it isn't a lie, because that's what came out of your mouth. And in this policy, which she falsely wants us to think is a Black agenda for the Black men, it's not even about them. It's about everybody. Okay? Because if you remember, when she did say that she wasn't going to specifically do anything for Black people, let's be very clear. She also said that whatever is done is going to benefit everybody. Okay? And I'm sure this policy that she has, this is right here, this is going to benefit everybody but Black men. Please pay attention. Now, it goes on to say, while traveling across the country to cities like Atlanta, Detroit, and Charlotte, she heard powerful stories from Black men about the biggest hurdles that still make it too difficult for them to get their businesses off the ground and grow them to meet their full ambitions, and discuss policies that can help break down remaining barriers to success. Now, I'm not going to read all of this because I don't have to, because I'm just going to show you another occasion where you should know this isn't for Black men. Drawing on insights from her experience throughout her career and economic opportunity tour, today Vice President Harris is laying out an opportunity agenda for Black men to provide them with the tools to achieve financial freedom, lower costs to better provide for themselves and their families, and protect their rights. This path-breaking agenda includes, number one, providing $1 million loans that are fully forgivable to Black entrepreneurs and others to start a business. Others. You see, here's the trick bag. Okay, I want you all to pay attention. Here's the trick bag. It says others. So what does that mean? That's not Black men. That's not just Black men. This is for anybody. This is for anybody, okay? At the end of the day, championing education, training, and mentorship programs to help Black men get good paying jobs in high demand industries and lead their communities, including pathways to become teachers. Now, that all sounds good, but again, that's not just for Black men. None of this is, because it says and others. Pay attention. That's the key thing. Another thing is, she's talking about championing education and training and mentorship programs. How is she going to do that? How is she going to champion it? And even if she does champion it, how is that going to guarantee, or that's supposed to make Black men get good paying jobs in high demand industries? What's she going to do? Go to these jobs and make people hire Black men? Is that what she's going to do? No, she's not. And the pathways to becoming teachers. Okay, who's going to pay for them to go to college to do so? All right, please make it all make sense. Supporting a regulatory framework for cryptocurrency and other digital assets so Black men who invest in and own these assets are protected. Well, how many Black men own cryptocurrency and have invested in it? But let me continue. Launching a national health equity initiative focused on Black men that addresses sickle cell disease, diabetes, mental health, prostate cancer, and other health challenges that disproportionately impact them. Legalizing recreational marijuana and creating opportunities for Black Americans to succeed in this new industry. Legalizing recreational marijuana. So how is she going to say that she's going to legalize that? Because doesn't she have to pass that through Congress? Doesn't she have to get Congress approval? How does she know they're going to go forward? And also, who's to say that some of the states will not want to, be for that? Is she going to make the states do it? Like, this is all a load of BS, okay? This is nothing more than a Trojan horse. But even in here, she brings up Donald Trump. She can't keep Trump's name out of her mouth. Donald Trump spent 4 years making Black men's lives harder. On his watch, millions of Black men lost their jobs, thousands closed their businesses, and hundreds of thousands lost their health insurance. As thousands of Black men lost their lives doing stupid 19, Donald Trump denied the severity of the crisis and made millions more unsafe. Crime in Black neighborhoods soared while Donald Trump tried to cut funding for public safety and made Black communities less secure. Now, here's what I want y'all to answer to me if you can. did Donald Trump make black neighborhoods less secure? And how did she, in fact, and Biden make them more secure? And also, how is she, if she does become president, going to make them more secure? How is she going to do that? How is she going to do that? And let me just remind you again, at the end of the day, black men lost their jobs under her and Biden's watch because of those nefarious mandates. Okay? Not just black men, but I'm specifically talking about them because that's who she's specifically trying to fool with this bogus ACE policy. We Next, aka DSB, says, don't be surprised, Queen, if they start calling that clip AI generated. Okay, you never know what they would do. Okay, you're absolutely right. So thank you, beloved, for your insight into the topic and your contribution to the channel. Peace, love, and blessings. But hold on. Hold on. I'm going to read a little bit more of this, but I have something else to show you all that I think you'll find quite interesting. She says he has repeatedly shown contempt for Black Americans and Black men, attacking their rights, fueling division, and standing in the way of their progress. Okay, he falsely accused the exonerated 5 and called for them to receive the death penalty. This is the same person who allowed a Black man to sit on death row when she had the ability to release the evidence that possibly could have exonerated him. This is the same woman who sent a Black man to prison, whose office sent a Black man to prison. She had to sign off on it. Falsely convicted. Jamal Truelove is his name. All right, Jamal Truelove is his name. Now, when she was at Univision the other day and the young Mexican or Latino woman told her about her mother dying and she got emotional, the woman did, that is, Kabami then said to her, what was her name? Let's say her name. That's what Kabami said. Let's say her name. Has she ever said Sonia Massey's name? Has she ever said Sonia Massey's name? I'm sorry. Has she? What about any other Black person who was killed by the police while unarmed? Has she ever said any of their names? I'm sorry, she has not. She absolutely has not. But she said that woman's name. Okay? She said that woman's name. At the end of the day, she's full of crap. Truth Over Everything says attacks and killings of Black men by police and others increased under Biden and Harris. Yes, they absolutely did. They absolutely did. So I'm sorry, but hold on. Don't stop there. That's all I'm going to read about her nefarious policy that's full of lies, holes, and BS, in my opinion. But I just proved to you all that it's not specifically for Black men. It's for everybody and anybody. And all she's doing throughout is just emphasizing Black men in the talking points, just to make it seem as though, hoping that nobody will notice what it's really all about. But anyway, hold on. Let's go to my Twitter account or X account, because here's something that I found very interesting. Okay, you know how sometimes things just fall in your lap? So let's get into it. Please pay attention. Research. Somebody did some research on Kabami, and the math ain't math in Kabami. She's talking about, yes, DJ Big Six, it's a bait and switch. Red Wine Entertainment said it's propaganda. Absolutely. Here's the thing. Now she sits here and she talks about Trump stealing or taking away our democracy, when that's exactly what the Democrats have done via taking away the First Amendment. You know, let me tell you guys something. Do you all know that one day I went to post on Instagram and to call her a hypocrite? I couldn't call her a hypocrite on Instagram. A message came up, a notification came up and said, this looks like something that has already been reported. Do you want to edit this comment? So you mean I can't call her a hypocrite? Why not? You see, that's how you know the fix is in. Whenever somebody is a person you can't talk about, when there's a particular group of people you can't talk about, when there's a specific person that you can't talk about, you already know what time it is. Okay? You already know what time it is. But listen to this, because this man did his research and I'm here for it. Okay? Watch this.
What I just found on Kamala Harris's Instagram. If you go through the people she follows, you'll find something very, very strange. Pretty much all of them are either actors, celebrities, athletes, or political figures. But then you'll find someone called John Doe. So I did some digging on John, and you're not going to believe what I found. We know Kamala's flip-flopped on policy, but let me tell you, Big Johnny makes it pretty clear what the agenda is. Besides the traceable donations to the Dems, let me lay out why I think he could be one of the puppet masters behind their agenda. He's on the board of a number of key companies, the first of which is Google, which we now know has been extremely active in censorship, most recently when they stifled the viewership of the attempted Trump assassination and only showed Kamala search results when you'd search for Trump. He was also an early investor in Twitter and very active in the decision-making during Jack Dorsey's ownership. He's a part of Bono's One Organization, Bill Gates's The Pledge, but the most crazy involvement has to be Forward.us, which he co-founded alongside Zuckerberg. It's essentially aimed at fast-tracking citizenship for immigrants in the US, and some of the rhetoric is quite alarming. I mean, look at this.
Okay, so you all saw that. You all saw that, right? More censorship. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but let me just tell you all something. I told you all, for those of you who follow my backup channel, I told you all days ago how they passed that Future Pact Act at the UN. They passed that, I want to say September the 28th. Many people weren't paying attention because they're sitting here talking about Diddy. I'm talking about Diddy too, but I'm also paying attention to what else is going on around here. So at the end of the day, they passed that Future Pact Act. Okay, basically, it seems like we might be living in a communist regime. Okay? Taking away the First Amendment, censoring people and all of that. Okay, and if you don't know about it, go watch the broadcast I did on my backup channel about it. But hold on. Hold on. Likes up, everyone. Please like and share. Now let me go to something else. Did y'all know this? Did y'all know anything about this? Did y'all know anything about this? How come this isn't on the mainstream media? The chief accountant at Ukraine's Burisma Energy. Remember Burisma Energy, where Hunter Biden used to work and they were paying him allegedly about $50,000 a month? Well, that chief accountant at Ukraine's Burisma Energy, who offered to provide U.S. authorities with damning evidence regarding financial crimes. Wonder who committed those financial crimes. But yeah, that person's dead. And this is fact checked. Person's dead. Y'all don't find it suspicious? Because I do. I find it all suspicious. Please pay attention. But hold on. Let's keep going. Likes up, everyone. Please like and share. Hold on. There's a video that I'm looking for specifically. Here it is right here. Now listen to this.
So I'm a little aggravated right now and a little confused. So I have firefighting experience. I have rescue experience, swiftwater rescue training. I'm also an equipment operator. I'm also, you know, I love being outdoors, you know, hiking trails. I'm a problem solver. You know, I felt like I could make a difference, and I wanted to go up to the Asheville, North Carolina area and try and help. I called the fire department, everything. They were on board, but then the county emergency management division told me that they had all the help they needed, that they were good, that they didn't need any more resources. They had it handled. Yet, I get on TikTok right now, and the first video I see is a family of 11 who waited for help, and it never showed up. It never came. I was going to come. I was going to help. I could have helped. I could have been in the area. Why are you going to turn down help from people that are wanting to come up there on their dime and help you? There's 11 people dead. How do you have everything you need? If you let 11 people die, they survived a hurricane and then died waiting for you. You ought to be ashamed of yourselves. It makes me sick to my stomach.
Okay, I want y'all to pay attention. Now, I need some answers, Kabami. What's up with all that lithium and high purity quartz? Okay, that BlackRock and Vanguard needed permits for. And she was supposed to be the last one to sign off on those permits, allegedly. And her husband is a shareholder in both. Okay, I have questions. Okay, I absolutely have questions. All right, and here's the thing. Remember what I told you all about some questionable things being, questionable accusations of inappropriate behavior being made about Tim Walz. And I said, I'm not going to get into the salacious details of it because I don't want any problems with ScrewTube. But what I will tell you is this. The person who posted that information, who said that they in fact spoke to the whistleblower, that person's video or their Twitter account, X account, they can't post for 3 days. Their account was suspended for 3 days. With that all being said, I find it interesting because I thought Elon Musk was about not censoring people. Isn't that what he's supposed to be about? TC Dan says, thank you for your donation, beloved. Queen, did you see people talking about Trump dancing and playing music for like 45 minutes at the town hall yesterday? It was interesting. Queen 2024. Yes, I did. Thank you, beloved. Peace, love, and blessings to you. Yes, I did see that. And thank you for your contribution. Here's the thing. They claimed that Donald Trump was sick. They said that he had a health crisis or something like that. And that's why he played the music. Okay, that's why he played the music. So that's according to reports. Because we all know that Trump likes to talk. So if he's not running his mouth, I have questions. So I believe that he probably was sick. But speaking of Trump, look at this. Hold on. Let me share my screen again. Now, this is what someone posted on X. Please pay attention. October the 27th of 1986, Donald Trump, Rosa Parks, and Muhammad Ali won the Ellis Island Medal of Honor in patriotism, tolerance, brotherhood, and diversity. Trump was never labeled a racist until he ran for president of the United States. I'm sorry. Now, that's true. That's true. And I'm not saying he isn't racist, but he was never labeled one until he ran for president. And that's just a fact. And also, FYI, another thing is at the end of the day, hold on. Yeah. And so at the end of the day, listen, isn't it a fact that all of the presidents have been racist except Barack Obama? Now, he wasn't racist, but he darn sure didn't give a crap about black people. So what's the difference if he is racist? Because all the other presidents have been racist too, as far as I'm concerned. Okay? Didn't Kanye say George Bush didn't care about black people? Didn't George Bush give the order to shoot the people that were looting down there in Hurricane Katrina? They didn't call him racist. All right? They didn't call him racist. So I find it all interesting. Please pay attention. Now listen to this fool right here. This is what I'm talking about. It's the buffoonery of it all for me. It is the buffoonery of it all for me.
So tell me something. I can cook for you. I can clean for you. I can raise your kids. I can tell you how so much soul comes from me. That's the reason why you taste it in my food, but you can't vote for me. I can't lead you, but yet I can guide you, but you can't vote for me. I can tell you how to fast and flash, and you can be the next thing like me. Everybody says you like me, but you ain't nothing like me. But yet and still, you get your clothing, your children get the understanding, they get the slang and the lane, but you can't even vote for me. But I can cry out tears for the bad boys that lay down on the streets. I can tell you how to raise your kids right, and I can tell you how to have a fight because you ain't got no fight like I got. but you can't vote for me. I can walk into a room, be the biggest thing there without even having to talk. I can tell you how to get your mind together without even having to give you a real thought. I can lay process on you so you can process your own. I can lead you. I can guide you. But I can't run a country for you. And yet you wonder why you're living in destruction. Wonder why our kids are not eating. Why is it that every time I turn around, the food gets higher, but yet the goods get lower? I can't understand how you can't let a woman run it. But you can let me tell you what to do. Help me understand how I can tell you what to do. I can give you guidance. I can lead you, but you can't even vote for me for your freedom mentally.
No, I'm sorry, but she really thought she was saying something. Lady, please sit your behind down somewhere. You sound like an idiot. Okay? She sounds like a whole idiot. So she's trying to liken. Sierra said, is she running? No, she's talking about Kabami. Samuel said, sit down, lady. Exactly. Okay? Exactly. Now she's sitting there talking about you can do all this, but you can't vote for me. See, what she's trying to do is paint the picture that Barry Obama tried to paint, that black men simply won't vote for Kamala Harris just because she's a woman. And they know that's not the truth. They know that's not the truth because black men absolutely voted for Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton, in fact, won the popular vote. Donald Trump won by the Electoral College. So she's sitting up there. Miss J says she's mammy-splaining. Exactly. Okay? Exactly. She's sitting up there. There's no comparison. First of all that stuff she said, Kamala never did any of that stuff for black men. Her husband's not black. So what is she talking about? She sounds ridiculous. Okay? That's all I'm going to say. But hold on. Let's go to this last video. Then I'm about to be up out of here. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. Thank you in advance. Here we go.
Patriots get that whether we are black or brown or white, we all bleed the same red blood of patriots. We all enjoy the same glorious freedoms, and we all salute the same great American flag. And whether a child is born in the urban sprawl of Detroit or the windswept plains of Nebraska, they look up at the same night sky, they fill their heart with the same dreams, and they are infused with the breath of life by the same almighty creator. So to all Americans in every city, near and far, small and large, from mountain to mountain, from ocean to ocean, hear these words. You will never be ignored again. Your voice, your hopes, and your dreams will define our American destiny. And your courage and goodness and love will forever guide us along the way. Together, we will make America strong again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. And yes, together, we will make America great again. Thank you. God bless you.
I'm sorry. Say what, Kabami? Here's the thing. Whoever wrote that for Trump, if somebody in fact did, they need to be writing for Kabami. Okay, because we're tired of hearing about lawns and how she grew up and all of that. Okay, at the end of the day, human nature said at least Trump isn't lying about washing collard greens on the tub. Okay, please miss us with it. Okay, please miss us with it. Okay, and so with that all being said, Kamala, it's just not working. It's like every little thing that they're doing is backfiring, okay? It's just all backfiring. And I'm not telling people to vote for Trump. Vote for whoever you feel is in your best interest. But at the end of the day, why is she always trying to point the finger at Trump when she does the same things that Trump does, in my opinion? She attacks her political rivals, so does Trump. She claims that Trump uses the weaponize the DOJ for his against his political rivals. And here's the thing. She said that Trump came out of his mouth and said that. I never heard him say that. That's what the Democrats said about him. But who are the ones who put Tulsi Gabbard, who went in so eloquently on Kabami with all facts and receipts and proof? Kabami couldn't even debunk what the woman said right to her face during the debate in 2019. Why is Tulsi Gabbard now on a terror watch list? This woman is a lieutenant colonel in the U.S. military. Who put her on that watch list? Democrats, Kabami, Biden. I have several questions. But hold on. Because what I also find interesting is this. This is what Trump said in the 80s. And I want you all to pay attention to this because it sounds like it is ringing true right now. It sounds like it's ringing true right now. This is a question that was asked of Donald Trump about being president in the 80s. I'm going to show you several clips and how he answered each time. And I find it all interesting because, like I said, this seems to be what's going on right now. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. Thank you in advance. Let me put an overlay over this.
People, the ultimate goal in life has been becoming the president of the United States. Would you like to be the president of the United States?
I really don't believe I would, Ronna, but I would like to see somebody as the president who could do the job. And there are very capable people in this country.
Most people who are capable are not running for office. Most men are frightened of politics today.
It is a shame, isn't it?
Yes.
It is a shame. The most capable people are not necessarily running for political office. And that is a very sad commentary on the country. They had major corporations and they had this and that, but they are not running for political office.
Why wouldn't someone like yourself run for political office? You have all the money that you possibly need. You've accomplished a great deal, even though you are only 34. I know there's a lot of things that you possibly can do in the years ahead. Why wouldn't you dedicate yourself to public service?
Because I think it's a very mean life. I would love and I would dedicate my life to this country, but I see it as being a mean life. And I also see it as somebody with strong views and somebody with the kind of views that are maybe a little bit unpopular, which may be right, but may be unpopular, wouldn't necessarily have a chance of getting elected against somebody with no great brain but a big smile. And that's a sad commentary for the political process.
Television, in a strange way, has ruined that process, hasn't it?
It's hurt the process very much. I mean, the Abraham Lincolns of the world, Abraham Lincoln would probably not be electable today because of television. He was not a handsome man and he did not smile.
Imagine waking up in the middle of the night.
I'm sorry, say what? Now I want you all to pay attention. Okay? I want you all to pay attention because what he said to me sounds like Kabami. He said somebody who has strong views that might be right, but they're not popular, could possibly not win to somebody who wasn't that smart and had a big smile. He just described Kabami. I'm sorry. I'll say what now? But anyway, let's continue because I have two more clips. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. And I will be going live on the backup channel after this. Give me a few minutes to post the link because we got to talk about this black man who was walking down the street in his own neighborhood, and then a mob of white men came after him, demanding to know why he was there. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance.
And what about are people trying to draft you to run for president up in New Hampshire?
Well, I guess a lot of people want to see this country. It's a shame what's happening. Japan, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, everybody's taking advantage of the United States. People know that if certain people are running a country, that it won't happen. I mean, when you look at Japan not paying for the defense, we're defending Japan. We're losing billions and billions of dollars. We're fighting for AIDS help and for farmers and for this and that. And it's a shame. And the Japanese folks, who I respect greatly, but they're not treating us fairly. They're really not treating us fairly. Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, they're not paying us anything for the services we're rendering, and I think it's a disgrace. And I think people look at certain people, and maybe me, if I were in a position, this country, believe me, would not be ripped off like it is. And it is just being ripped off so badly by our so-called allies.
Now I want you all to pay attention because Trump's talking about how they're ripping us off. Kagame and Biden have been helping them to rip us off by sending them hundreds of billions, not millions, but hundreds of billions of dollars. And then going so far as to allow people who come over here from Ukraine to be able to collect Social Security. Now, I'm sorry, but they've always taken out of my check for Social Security. So if I need it, I should be able to get it, and so should any of you. Why are people coming here from foreign lands able to get Social Security when they didn't even put into this system? Okay, somebody please make it all make sense if you can.
Yeah. So that's a pretty strong statement. So now, are you
I don't
saying
think it's strong. I think it's fair. And by the way, I have tremendous respect for the Japanese. I do a lot of business with the Japanese, and they smile about it too. They know it. The country is losing billions and billions of dollars to Japan, and we can't afford to lose. And it's a shame.
But so now, are you saying this by way of indicating that you could do it better, and you do intend to run for president at some point?
No, I'm not going to run for president, but I think somebody.
Now, in 8 years, if you came back, would you have a different answer? In 4 years,
I tend to doubt it. I really tend to doubt it. But I just think that there's so many ways that this country can straighten itself out, and we're not going about those ways. Cutting farm aid is not the appropriate thing. Cutting help for the homeless and help for the poor and welfare. Certain things can be done that really will mean big dollars to this country. And those things are not being done right now.
You happen to see green.
Okay, I want you all to pay attention. Okay, he said cutting aid for the farmers and welfare and stuff like that. He said that's not the way to do it. Well, it is for the Biden-Harris team. That's the way to do it for them. Please pay attention, but hold on. Let's see what he had to say when he was on Oprah. And here's the thing I want you all to pay attention to. You should be asking yourselves, why were all of these people asking him to become the president? Okay, why were all of these people asking him to become the president? All right, I mean, just please pay attention because why were they asking him in the first place? On every interview, just about. That's what they were all asking. Okay?
You've said, though, that if you did run for president, you believe you'd win.
Well, I don't know. I think I'd win. I tell you what, I wouldn't go in to lose. I've never gone in to lose in my life. And if I did decide to do it, I think I'd be inclined. I would say that I would have a hell of a chance of winning because I think people, I don't know how your audience feels, but I think people are tired of seeing the United States ripped off. And I can't promise you everything, but I can tell you one thing. This country would make one hell of a lot of money from those people that for 25 years have taken advantage. It wouldn't be the way it's been. Believe me.
This sounds like political presidential talk to me. And I know people have talked to you about whether or not you want to run. Would you ever?
Probably not. But I do get tired of seeing the country ripped off.
Why would you not?
I just don't think I really have the inclination to do it. I love what I'm doing. I really like it.
Also, it doesn't pay as well.
No, it doesn't. But, you know, I just probably wouldn't do it, Oprah. I probably wouldn't, but I do get tired of seeing what's happening with this country. And if it got so bad, I would never want to rule it out totally because I really am tired of seeing what's happening with this country, how we're really making other people live like kings and we're not.
What do you think of this year's presidential race, the way it's shaping up?
Well, it's going to be very interesting. I think that probably George Bush has an advantage in terms of the election. I think that probably people would say that he's got like that little edge in terms of the incumbency, et cetera, et cetera. But I think Jesse Jackson's done himself very proud. I think Michael Dukakis has done one hell of a job. And George Bush has done a hell of a job. You know, they all went in there sort of as semi-underdogs, including George Bush, and they've all come out. I think people that are around all three of those candidates can be very proud of the jobs they've done.
You took out a full-page ad in major U.S. newspapers last year criticizing U.S. foreign policy. What would you do differently, Donald?
I'd make our allies, forgetting about the enemies you can't talk to so easily. I'd make our allies pay their fair share. We're a debtor nation. Something's going to happen over the next number of years with this country because you can't keep going on losing $200 billion, and yet we let Japan come in and dump everything right into our markets and everything. It's not free trade. If you ever go to Japan right now and try to sell something, forget about it, Oprah. Just forget about it. It's almost impossible. They don't have laws against it. They just make it impossible. They come over here, they sell their cars, their VCRs, they knock the hell out of our companies. And hey, I have tremendous respect for the Japanese people. I mean, you can respect somebody that's beating the hell out of you, but they are beating the hell out of this country. Kuwait, they live like kings. The poorest person in Kuwait, they live like kings. And yet they're not paying. We make it possible for them to sell their oil. Why aren't they paying us 25% of what they're making? It's a joke.
The blood of Jesus has given us.
He's absolutely right. It is a joke. And it's a joke when Biden's administration sent hundreds of billions of dollars over to Ukraine. Okay. It's a joke when they allow people who are not even from here to collect on the benefits that those of us have put into. Okay. It's a joke. It is absolutely a joke. And here's the thing, at the end of the day, hold on, let me put this up on the screen. Jonathan Toymaker says, I remember how racist he was after the Central Park Five. Yeah, I remember that too, beloved. And at the end of the day, here's the thing. Donald Trump was a Democrat then, and the Democrats went after the Central Park Five, and it was a Democratic prosecutor. And let's not forget that when he did that, they had already confessed. Now, it came out years later that they didn't do it, but they had literally confessed. Okay. And so you can't blame him for thinking they were guilty at the time. Now, he never came back and apologized and stood firm on it. But at the end of the day, they had confessed. Okay. And let's not forget that Kabami recently, or not recently, but years ago when she was in California, let's not forget how she let a black man sit on death row when she had the evidence that could have gotten him possibly exonerated. Let's not forget about the black men who went to prison for things they didn't do. Okay, like Jamal Truelove. Okay, so I'm sorry, which one's worst? Trump taking out ads for people who said they were guilty at the time, or Kabami letting people who say they were innocent go sit in prison for 5 or 6 years when she had proof, her office had proof that they were not guilty? I'm sorry, which one's worse? Which one's worse? Because, see, one thing about it is I have receipts and I do research. Do you? Okay. Do you? All right. So, with that all being said, now, and one thing I will say about Trump is a narcissist, in my opinion. Trump is a narcissist. And one thing about narcissists is they're never willing to admit fault. They're never willing to admit that they were wrong, and they very seldom apologize, because to apologize would be admitting that you're wrong. And that's one thing that I don't think Trump has ever done. Okay. At the end of the day, T. Cope says they were coerced confessions. Yes, they were. But we didn't find that out, beloved, until years later. That's my point. Okay. When they confessed initially, people didn't know that they were coerced confessions. That's my point. We found out years later. Okay. So, with that all being said, hold on, because I'm not done yet. Likes up. Everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Now, let's talk about this. There we go.
Nobody even think about this lady in 2020 when she ran. It's just mind-boggling. Then y'all got signs up in the back, all them signs that say black voters. That was very offensive. That was very racist. And I'm gonna say that was very racist. If it was Donald Trump and he had signs up that said black voters, literally CNN would be spinning that shit all damn day, calling him a racist. The stuff y'all try to pull over people's heads, man, is ridiculous.
I'm going to go ahead and just speak some truths, if you don't mind. Because my understanding, based on reports I'm getting from campaigns and communities, is that we have not yet seen the same say that when respect for church who is coming.
Okay, I'm going to stop that. I thought he was going to say something else. We've already seen that with Barry Obama trying to tell everybody what to do. Okay. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. Thank you in advance.
This is my message to all of the people who plan on voting for Kamala Harris in this upcoming election. When everything is said and done, please don't be mad at the result. The reason that I'm making this statement is because the Democratic Party, they played y'all. I'm not being funny. I'm being dead serious when I make this statement. The reason that I'm saying this is because in the beginning, you had a flawed candidate that everybody knew was having cognitive decline. They knew that. Then they decided to make him drop out after a debate. And mind you, throughout the history of presidential debates, there was never a debate that early. So they did it to see the reaction. Then they got him to step down. They deboed him to step down. And then they put in another flawed candidate who had to do this in 4 months. I just really want y'all to hear me out when I'm saying this. They have someone who has to do a campaign in 4 months, and she has to go up against someone who's been campaigning for pretty much 8 years. It's a lose-lose situation. And once again, when I say flawed candidate, she doesn't have anything in her back pocket to boost her to make people want to vote for her. And they're running the same playbook that they ran with Joe Biden, where they're keeping her very sheltered. If you have 4 months to run a campaign, you need to be everywhere. You need to be everywhere, putting your name out there so people could know who you are, know where you stand, and all that shit. What also makes it bad is if you are a Kamala Harris supporter, go listen to her speeches. She says the same exact thing every single time. That means that they don't trust her to speak her own mind. That's just not good.
Okay, I'm gonna stop him right there because his video is like 10 minutes long. But let's go to the next one. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. Thank you in advance.
So Kamala Harris just released this new agenda for Black men, and let's just start from the beginning here. Why isn't she doing this now? You know, if she really wants to support Black men and help uplift them, she's in the White House now. She can do this now. But this agenda is so ridiculous and racist. If you really want to help Black Americans, cut their taxes. Just do that. Just do that. But no, she's got to legalize recreational marijuana and create opportunities for Black Americans to succeed in this new industry. So she has an initiative to help Black men become drug dealers. Guys, I can't with this. We can't let this win. We launched in May.
Let's keep going, beloveds. I want you all to hear what Black people are saying. I want you all to hear what other Black people are saying. Okay, please pay attention.
What's up, family? So my homeboy Unplug FYP sent me this video, and he wanted me to talk about it because it's obvious that the liberals are grasping for straws when it comes to the Black vote. Because not only are they sending 44 to do their bidding, but now they're sending Black women to pretty much shame Black men into voting for Kamala Harris. Check out this video.
Y'all shut the... Okay? Y'all know what the pause is. Are y'all happy now? Have y'all been pacified enough? Kamala introduces new policies centered towards Black men, including providing loans for Black entrepreneurs and legalizing, the ganja. Y'all needed special treatment. Here you go. What do these policies entail? Well, let me read for you. Kamala's new policies include providing $1 million in loans to provide entrepreneurs and others to start businesses, investing in Black male mentorship and training programs, protecting cryptocurrency assets, launching a health equity initiative.
You all notice how she just glossed over the word others? Clearly, she didn't catch that while she's sitting here caping for Kabami, but let's continue. I'm going to skip past it because we already heard the policy.
Complain about what the government doesn't do for them. Let's be real. Y'all don't take a part of these opportunities anyways. And that's not me being funny. That's me being for real. Black women will take advantage of these opportunities sitting out there because they want to do better for themselves. Now let's see if Black men can get the fuck up now that there's something out there for them. That means not just voting for Kamala Harris, voting for Democrats to be in the Senate and the House so these policies that benefit y'all can run through so she can sign that goddamn bill. Kamala also pledges to help Black farmers and ranchers as well. Work with Congress to encourage businesses to limit the use of criminal arrests in histories and credit scores when vetting potential employees. That means if you go to jail for some dumb shit, you still can get a good job. I'm just sick of hearing all the goddamn complaints. We hear y'all. Now get your asses.
And she promised that if somebody goes to jail, they can still get a good job. Is she going to go to these companies and make them hire people? You see how ridiculous this all is? You see how ridiculous this all is? How is she going to do that? But let's continue.
Up and go to the fucking polls. Now, Black.
Lord, I had to take my headphones off for this shit. First of all, I don't know this lady. I see her on my timeline every once in a while. I don't really follow her because I don't really do a lot of messy TikTok in my algorithm. But the thing about it is this. I don't know if this content creator is going to see this at all. I don't know if you have strong alpha men in your life. No man wants to be told what to do. Period. Especially alpha Black men, especially by a woman who has a condescending tone with them. This woman didn't even care enough about Black men to marry one. Let's keep it a buck. I don't know how much she keeps paying these influencers to try to wag their fingers at Black America into voting for these Democrats again, giving sympathy coochie policies. Do you know what sympathy coochie is? Let me tell you what it is. Sympathy coochie is pretty much when a man wants to get busy with his woman ain't really in the mood to get busy with him. Then she sees that he's feeling some type of way because he's horny, he wants to get it. Instead of her sticking to her guns and standing on business, says, oh, well, you know, it's okay. You can put the head in. Black men are tired of putting the head in type of energy from the Democrats. It's dick dehydrating energy. This video is dick dehydrating energy. And she's not going to get their vote just because she's paying influencers and Barry to talk to them. Y'all need to get over it. Because at this point, it's giving desperation. They don't want her. They don't trust her, and we don't trust her. Y'all need to get over it. I swear to God, I hope y'all saving them checks that y'all getting paid from these campaigns. I hope that y'all are saving these checks. She already made it clear that she wasn't going to do anything specifically for Black people. How the hell do you think that they're going to trust her to do anything now?
Okay. I'm sorry, where was the lie? I'm sorry, where was the lie? Okay, I didn't hear any at the end of the day. So all I'm saying is, please sit down somewhere. How about that? Okay, Kabami, please sit down somewhere. So with that all being said, I'm about to be up out of here. Everyone, please like and share. Okay, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. I know some of y'all are mad, support the arts because the Queen stays going in on Kabami, but guess what? Somebody had to do it. And let me say this about Tim Walz. Now, I told you guys I wasn't going to get into the nefarious details of the salacious allegations, but here's the thing. There is a person who got in touch with a person who posted that stuff about Tim Walz. And remember, I told you guys that this guy sent emails to Kamala's campaign, letting them know that he was going to come out with the information before he did. Tim Walz tried to get in front of it and say something about, the situation or whatever. But this guy named Ian Carroll, if you all remember Ian Carroll, the white guy who did the video about Fahim Muhammad being Michael Jackson's doctor before he was Diddy's chief of security, that same dude, well, he got in touch with the person, okay, and basically asked them if they would give him the information on the whistleblower, to which they did. So he contacted the whistleblower, and the whistleblower told him all this information and says that he has receipts. And said there's other people, I want y'all to pay attention, and said there's other people that have similar stories. And the whistleblower is talking about filing something, okay? Because he said he doesn't want to keep seeing Tim Walz on TV, and especially doesn't want to see him in the White House after what he's accusing him of. So y'all just take that and put it in your pipe and smoke it, Kabami lovers, because I want to know all about this. I want to know what's really going down, okay? That's what I want to know. I want to know what's really going down. So please pay attention. Now, with that all being said, I'm up out of here. Like I told you guys, I'll be on the backup channel in about 30 minutes. We got to talk about this black man walking down the street and this mob of white folks started harassing him and all of that. Okay, so everybody enjoy the rest of this beautiful day. Okay, each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. Until next time, peace.
Yo, Nick, hit him with that flavor. Gold all in my skin, God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen, why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunta. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. That's See right. A bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got